You know, we hear this phrase a lot, being called by God, but what does that really mean? Well, today we're going to explore that exact question, and we're going to do it through the incredible story of Mary Magdalene. It's a journey that goes from, the absolute depths of brokenness all the way to a life-changing mission.
But before we get into all that, let me just ask you something. Have you ever felt, defined by your past? Like a mistake you made or a label someone stuck on you just becomes your whole identity? It's like you're wearing a name tag that just doesn't fit who you really are. It's a heavy feeling, right? Well, that's exactly where this story starts.
Yeah, so let's start right there with that struggle, that feeling of a past that just sticks to you, almost like a label you can't seem to peel off, no matter how hard you try. It's that feeling of being known for your brokenness. And let me tell you, Mary Magdalene, she knew that feeling better than almost anyone.
Think about it. In her town, she wasn't just Mary. Her name, her whole identity, was tied up in her suffering. She was basically defined by her trauma, labeled as unclean, unworthy, just broken. Can you even imagine carrying that kind of weight, where everyone, and I mean everyone, sees your pain before they even see you?
But that is so not where her story ends, not even close. Because the next part of her journey, this is the moment that changed absolutely everything. We're talking about the incredible power of being truly seen for who you are and being called by a real name.
So in the middle of all that noise, the whispers from the town, the labels people put on her, that voice of shame inside her own head, Jesus does something completely radical. He just cuts through all of it. He looks right past her reputation, right past the pain, and he just sees her.
And he says one single word. Not, "Hey, you unclean woman." Not, "the one with the demons." Nope, just her name, Mary. It sounds so simple, right? But in that one moment, it was absolutely everything. It was like a declaration, a reclaiming of her true identity. And boom, with that one word, spoken with so much love, her entire story was rewritten. It was a brand new start. That single personal call just sliced right through years and years of darkness and spoke straight to her soul.
Okay, let's just look at this transformation because it's so powerful. On one side, you've got everything she was known for, the shame, the fear, being broken. But look at the other side. This is what she was called as, Mary, known, beloved. It's a complete 180-degree shift, right? From a label tied to her circumstances to a name full of identity and worth.
And this is the thing. This isn't just a one-off story about Mary. This is a pattern we see all through the scriptures. It's this timeless promise. God's call to us doesn't start with a to-do list or a bunch of rules. It starts with this incredibly simple, powerful declaration of belonging. I have called you by name. You are mine.
Okay, so if this call is so personal and powerful, how do we actually, hear it? Because let's be honest, our world is so noisy. So that's what we're going to talk about next, the practical side of things. How do we learn to tune in and listen for that voice in the middle of all the chaos?
Well, Jesus gives us this really beautiful picture. He calls himself the Good Shepherd, and he says something amazing. His sheep, they recognize his voice. Now, the really encouraging part of that is it means we're already wired to recognize it. We're built for it. We might need a little practice tuning our ears to the right frequency. So how do we actually practice? It can start with 3 really simple steps. Seriously. Number 1, find a quiet place. Get away from the noise for a bit. Number 2, just ask. Be direct about it. Jesus, would you speak to me? And number 3, and yeah, this can be the hardest one, is to listen with patience. Just don't rush it. And hey, if you don't hear anything right away, please don't get discouraged. That's normal. Think about the prophet Samuel when he was just a kid. God called his name over and over, and at first, Samuel had no clue who it was. It took a few tries. And God wasn't annoyed or frustrated, he was just patient. And that same incredible patience is for us too.
Okay, this brings us to what is really the climax of Mary's entire journey. Because being called by name, it's not just about feeling better about yourself. As we're about to see at the empty tomb, sometimes your absolute darkest hour can become the launch pad for your greatest calling.
Just try to picture this scene. Mary is at the tomb, and her world has completely fallen apart. The person who gave her a new identity, a new life, he's gone. She is just wrecked by grief, total confusion, and despair. This is rock bottom for her.
And then, right there in the middle of her tears, she hears a familiar voice say that one word again, Mary. It's the exact same voice,
the same personal call that set her free all that time ago. But this time, it's not just about healing her. This time, it's about giving her a mission.
This breakdown is just so powerful. Look at how Jesus meets her exactly where she is, right in the middle of her pain. He takes her misery and turns it into a mission. He speaks to her despair and it becomes hope. He commissions her while she's still mourning and it leads to joy. He doesn't just bypass her pain, he actually redeems it and uses it. And here's the mission itself. It's so direct. Her personal encounter immediately flows into a purpose. Go and tell my brothers. In that one moment, Mary transforms from a grieving follower into the very first person to announce the resurrection. I mean, she's the first evangelist.
So if there's one thing to take away from this, it's this. Jesus uses our brokenness. He doesn't just, put a Band-Aid on it and send us on our way. He takes the very thing that caused us the most pain and actually turns it into a doorway for our greatest purpose.
Okay, so what does all of this mean for you and me right now? Well, this last part is all about that. Because this call, this story, it wasn't just for Mary. Her journey is like a roadmap, a blueprint that shows us how we are all called to share the story of what God has done in our lives.
See, the call keeps going right through us. The core idea is simple. People who are called become people who are sent. Our faith was never meant to be a private little secret. It's a story that's supposed to be shared. And sharing it isn't some heavy duty, it's just a natural overflow of being grateful. And the best part? You don't need to be perfect or have all the answers. You just need to be available.
And you are absolutely not sent out to do this alone. When Jesus gave this mission to his followers, he also gave them a promise to go with it, a promise of his presence. I am with you always. And you know what? That promise is just as true for us today.
So let's just end with this question right here. Just like Mary was sent to tell others what she'd seen and heard, we are too. Your story, the story of how you found hope, how you were called by name out of whatever darkness you were in, that is a powerful message. So the real question isn't if you have a story to tell. The question is, who needs to hear it?